Woo! Welcome to Gab Jam, episode 159.
All right. So what's today's topic about?
This is a really exciting one. The topic is my husband says I'm cheating. And you'll see why. No, what we really want to do is come to you, getting you together for the beginning of a new year and thinking about plans. So if you'll notice, the past few episodes have been related to planning. So this episode, I did the unboxing for the plum paper planner.
Right.
And like a day after I did that, I was going down the rabbit hole looking at ideas for planning with paper planners.
Right.
And I stumbled across the digital planner.
All right.
So once I stumbled across, I've been in the rabbit hole for the past 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to come to you guys and talk to you about just a few of the pros and cons. There's going to be a blog post and it's going to have a gazillion reasons for and against. Okay. But in this episode, we're only going to talk about, hold on, let me double check. 4 pros and 5 cons of digital planning.
Okay. All right. So what are the 4 pros of digital planning?
Well, I love paper, so that is not going to be, we'll talk about that later. But one of the pros is you don't have to lug around the big, thick planner.
Right.
And you've seen the planners, they're really thick, and even just manipulating and taking that back and forth, if I have to choose what to lighten my bag up with, a lot of times I will leave the planner at home.
Okay.
Because just taking it back and forth, or like when we're taking trips or whatever else, is just not as feasible to take that and other things along with us.
Okay.
A lot of times we have to lighten the load. So.
Okay. All right.
So that's kind of a problem. The second pro is that you don't have to limit the number of pages to limit the size.
All right. Okay.
Because with the plum paper planner, the first time out, I had all these extra sections, social media, blog, and all these extra sections that sounded great in the beginning, but it only made the planner heavier.
Okay.
So with the digital planner, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
So I really like that. That's been a benefit already. And the next reason, which ties into the last reason, is you can copy and paste different pages from other planners and from the planner and rearrange.
What do you mean by other planners? So you say that there's more than one digital planner that you're using?
Yes. Well, that's a whole, once you read the blog post, you'll see the whole journey. But that like if there's a page I really liked, even if it's a one-off or from another planner, you can copy that page from a planner and put it into, like for meal planning, water trackers. If you're doing exercises, like I'm starting to work on my arms, I can put a page in there that just tracks that. Or expenses or things like that. Things that weren't included as a part of that original digital planner.
Gotcha.
So that's a benefit. You can't do that. Once you make a selection for a paper planner, of course, you have what you have. And then finally, the undated. This is another pro. The undated, which is weird for me, but means that you put the dates in manually, you know, or you write them in or you paste them in, which means that you can use the planner year after year after year. So once you invest in it once, you just re-download the file. And then you can have a whole nother year. You just have to redate the pages.
Gotcha. You have to date them yourself, though.
Yes. So all those are the pros. And of course, you can kind of see some of the cons coming, but I'm going to just cover a few. There are tons of cons. But so one of them, the first one, is that I'm just not crazy about my handwriting. There's some people, when I'm watching these digital planning videos, they have like that school teacher handwriting and it's all beautiful and they just love their handwriting. I like paper and pencil, but I don't really like my handwriting. And then writing on the iPad is just not the same.
So are you saying that some planners don't allow you to type in?
Yes. So that's been my part, and I'll
So maybe they need to double back too, because so if they don't allow you to type in, let's just say you have an iPad but you don't have like an Apple Pencil, or let's say that you're using something else as your digital pad. You know, maybe you're using an Android device. So are you saying in order to use these type of planners that you need some type of stylus or something like that in order to do that?
So and that is a con, because needless to say, it's that particular stylus or that particular. You can do it with your finger, but it's like signing on those when you're paying with credit card and they have you sign your name and they have you sign it with your finger. It's like that does not look like it doesn't feel like your signature. Right. Doesn't look like your signature. So the same with digital planning. If you don't have the stylus, and then even if you do have the stylus, it's just not. It doesn't, for me, I don't particularly care.
It doesn't feel like necessarily paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so part of the thing that I ended up doing was, I guess, retrofitting it where I have figured out how to copy and paste from Google Docs.
I guess the interesting thing would be, I know for like the iPad and maybe even for other devices, that they have this, it's basically a screen protector that's like paper. Yeah. So I don't know if you added that protector and you're writing on that, will that help you with the writing?
With the control, yes. It does probably help you with the control. But again, my writing is just not all that in the bag. It's just I'm not enamored just to sit and write. And there are some people who are. Right. And those are probably more bullet journal people where they want to do everything from scratch. Yeah. Because they just love the way their writing looks. And I'm just not. I just want to use it functionally to be able to see what I need to do. And so typing actually works better. Right. And so that's one of the cons. So that's the first con. The second thing is, just like you mentioned, you have to carry the Apple Pencil. For us, we have the iPad and the Apple Pencil. Mm-hmm. And so in order to get the best out of it wherever we go, we have to take that with us. So
it would be interesting to know, especially people who are using Android devices or like the Samsung devices, whether or not there are planners out there, digital planners, that are more apt to take advantage of like Samsung, because Samsung has had the stylus
forever.
In place for quite a period of time. So I'm not sure if there are Android apps that might be a little bit further along, so that would be something nice to kind of put in the description, or even third-party apps that maybe you haven't heard of that does actually support Apple, that might, be take more advantage of it.
And I've heard now, of course, after 2 weeks of going down the rabbit hole and making some choices and doing some things, I've even heard that you have to download the planner into another app, which for me is GoodNotes. Right. And it sounds great. It sounds wonderful because it reads your handwriting. Like, you can search your handwriting and all that. So that's a pro. But the bad news is it is not, I guess it doesn't have all the features like making bullet points and numbered lists. Like, that just seemed like, or having a tab over. That seemed like a normal word processing function that you would include in any note-taking app. But GoodNotes, even GoodNotes 5 doesn't have it. So that's kind of a bummer for me. I noticed that after a week of taking it. But we're on to other cons. That wasn't supposed to be one of them. And so, but you can add that to the list, that it depends on whatever the program is that you're using to house the digital planner. Right. You may be limited in features. Okay. But one of the other things is, what I've noticed is I've had to charge up the pencil and the iPad every night, and I'm not used to doing that. Okay. So for people who are like me, who, hey, maybe once a week I would charge up the iPad in order to get the most out of actually using it. Right. I need to keep it charged and keep the pencil charged, and the pencil charges a different way. So
it depends on which generation of pencil that you have. So if you have like one of the newer iPads and you have one of the newer pencils, it attaches right to the iPad itself,
and that charges it.
And so it can automatically be charging just by sitting right on the iPad. Yeah. Whereas I think you have the pencil version
generation 1,
where you have to actually plug it into the iPad or plug it into something else in order to actually charge it up. So I don't know if the second version of Apple Pencil holds the charge longer, but you know how that is with Apple devices. Normally, as you get to the more recent versions, usually they hold a charge for a longer period of time. Just another way for Apple to figure out ways to get money from you.
To get you to buy a newer version. And then one of the biggest things is, I've been down this rabbit hole for the past 2 weeks. Like I said, week and a half, 2 weeks. Another big con, and it almost ran me off and back to my paper planner, is the learning curve. OMG. Yeah. So it's been, again, things that you think are intuitive and instinctive,
Right.
working in word processing programs, because we've been working in them for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, that you would think you'd be able to do and get around and do things and copy and paste, and it's all a new way of thinking.
So the question is, for this, is how would you use these two in conjunction without having to duplicate work? So meaning that if I put certain things into my digital planner,
Right.
in order for it, you know, to be replicated in my
Paper
planner,
yeah.
I would have to physically write those things
Yes.
in my paper planner. So does a commitment to a digital planner almost in a way make your paper planner obsolete, just simply because of the dual work that you have to do in order to keep them
Well,
updated?
this is the thing. And I'm just gonna save that for the blog post, but I will share that now. Is that I decided that there are ways to use them in conjunction and complementary and not duplicating.
I got you.
So, like for instance, we have a separate expenses calendar, and that's something we've always had. Where when I sit down to pay the bills, all the bills are tracked in that planner. It's just a little, you know, a little dated, foldy thing. It's not that big a deal. Also, Google Calendar on the phone. If there's a doctor's appointment, if there's, you know, if we're out of town, that goes into the Google Doc. So I already was doing separate things for separate purposes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is I would probably end up using them in conjunction, where just the things that are getting moved forward on a daily basis probably would go on the digital planner, because I have that with me everywhere.
Okay.
And I can even copy and paste directly from my journal into the planner.
Right.
But things that are like global, like, okay, I need to see the spread of, you know, the whole year right in front of me, it is better to actually look at the paper for me.
Okay.
And actually kind of look and see. That helps me kind of visualize the entire year in front of me.
Okay.
So there are ways, and I guess that kind of is the spoiler, is that I'm cheating on it by doing a lot of the regular functions, but then in some ways I'm still moving forward with using a digital planner. So I'm just using them in conjunction.
Okay.
I just can't say by the end of the year if it still keeps going, if I'm gonna continue, if I'm gonna buy another paper planner.
Okay.
That is what the question is right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. That makes
All right.
sense.
I think that's good enough. What do you guys do? Do you prefer? I've had a friend of mine who after we published the paper planner post, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get a paper planner," and then of course I discovered the digital planner. But he had used digital planners on Android.
Okay.
And he was saying he had all kinds of problems, and so he was going to move to the paper planner.
Okay, yeah.
And then I had to respond and say, "Oops."
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way to go. But anyway, however it goes, having some form of goal tracking, goal setting, time frames, to me that's important, no matter whether you use a paper or a digital. But we'd like to hear from you guys. Which type of planner do you use? What type of planning method do you use? And, you know, we'd like to explore, again, like Bruce said, if there are some other options that maybe might even enhance what I'm doing.
Right.
I would love to hear about them. Drop it in the comments below.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yep. Still SugarFit, and SugarFit's available wherever you might stream, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music. You can go and buy it on Bandcamp. You can get it on Amazon, CD Baby.
And t-shirts.
T-shirts or flags, whatever it is that you want. It's all still available. So
yeah. And of course, if you dig the vibe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.
yay.